absolutely delighted to be able to present this new commission by the incredibly talented artist Sarah Roberts. Sarah has created a multifaceted and immersive installation exploring environments of care. This new body of work investigates how domestic and hospital settings tend to blur when providing care for a seriously ill person.
I'm Sarah Roberts and I am a Welsh artist who is based here in Leeds. This exhibition is called Sick, a Note from 40 Sandilands Road and Other Stories. 40 Sandilands Road is the house in which I grew up when I was a child. I was a young carer, which I didn't actually realise at the time. So I have a familial experience of hoarding and collecting. There's a joy in materiality that comes alongside that, and with it also this kind of hangover of shame that you can have along that consumptive behaviour. I'm interested in the materiality of space and the way we do construct these environments around ourselves to almost like manage our experience as a human body and create a still space for looking. And that's what I'm interested in recreating for the viewer, to almost distill the sense of a place that I found materially seductive and turn that into a new representation, a new environment that they can experience themselves.
Sarah has worked across a wide range of media, including ceramics, industrial materials, found objects, medical paraphernalia, collage, sound, scent, and for the first time, woven textiles and blown glass. As part of the project, we invited Sarah to do a 6-month residency at the University of Leeds last year. She studied and got inspiration from a wide range of materials around healthcare from our cultural collections. These included items relating to hospitals, medical objects, cookery recipes for convalescents, folk remedies, hygiene, human anatomy, illness and restorative practices.
The archive team helped me to find this anatomy of bones from the 1700s. It's just the most amazing volume that contains all these very intricate drawings of bones and skeletal scaffolds. The bodies are out of scale, out of sync with the landscapes that exist behind them and the contextual objects that they seem to be holding. They seem to reference the distance of that protagonist from the landscape behind them, sort of embodiment of the sick, of the reason that we need to unpick how this body exists and how it works and how it malperforms. We found within one of the books a recipe for creating a gallon of spa water, so to recreate that essential moment of the spa. We contacted the chemistry department at Leeds University, who have helped us to recreate that spa water, which now exists within the exhibition, and it's bottled in SodaStream bottles, which is a pertinent reference to my youth. Cultural collections here have amazing cookery books. They contain a lot of prescriptive ideas on healthcare, the sick room, how to look after invalids and how to feed them. I was interested in a lot of the photographs I found in the military hospital selections, these moments where it appears that people have created rooms for themselves within these environments of care, that they bring elements of their own past or present or something in there that is like a photograph or some flowers or, things that permeate in some way. I was very keen to include this work in the selection that's shown at Treasures Gallery. It's a work by Georgie Gordon, who is an amazing painter, and I felt like it really captured a moment of that solitary nature that you can have around sickness and care. This is what I think like a sketchbook looks like, and then you see other people's really beautiful ones and like that. Mine have things that say 5 dolphins equals 1 metre and that you need 38 metres. When I'm making a work, I normally start off with a colour palette, and in this installation it fixes mainly on like 2 colours as its base point. But here's the beginnings of looking at this idea of creating a fountain from where I was looking at the Scarborough Spa stuff. And you can see how it morphs from like almost something that is a real fountain into this water cooler. And this is like a pastel sketch of the teenage bedroom, this idea of it being flattened into almost a colour, like an idea of something, an idea of this like space of retreat. So this area is the sick room. So it's a contained space within the wider space. In the archives, I found a lot of prescriptive methodologies on how you would construct a sick room within the house, where the attendance room would lie in response to it. The colour is extracted from palettes from a book that I found in the Thackeray collection. I like this idea of this hospital green spreading over the architectural elements of the space, that it almost emulates the spread of the sick and the spread of the care that comes alongside it and the changing that happens to objects within the home. So the sink and the bed that you see behind you and the chair, they all have exaggerated proportions. It takes me back to this notion of being a child, like not quite understanding what's happening, not quite having this parallel relationship with people, like an out of step kind of feel. These panels are actually more exposing than covering up. They contain an illustration of pneumonia, which was done by Ethel Wright in 1909. And this illustration I found in the University's Museum of History of Science, Technology and Medicine. This whole space is like semi-voyeuristic, which is how I feel a house can become if you do enter that moment where somebody is having palliative care or chronic care. This area is the hoard space. These are the things that I imagine are pushed out of the house. There are objects, toys that are unplayed with, like bound objects that sort of have lost their usefulness. This space is the teenage bedroom, or rather the attendance room, as it would be described in the prescriptive guides in the archive. So this would be a safe space for myself as the young carer. And these ceramic snakes refer to the rod of Asclepius, which references in Greek mythology the deity for healing, but also references the game of chance that is snakes and ladders. It's like Susan Sontag says that everybody has a passport to the kingdom of the sick. But music is a key aspect. This was like an emotional salve for me as a young person. We've created a soundtrack which is a compilation of 36 songs. It would have been things like a go-to to listen to on repeat. 36 songs because that would emulate a Now compilation from the 90s. These are mixed in with different sounds that are soothing, like the sounds of cats and seagulls, the roar of a lion. This is the sanctuary space, which refers largely to the books that I found in the archive on Scarborough Spa and like healing, restorative powers of seawater, sea bathing. I thought a lot about my upbringing on the coast and how, as a young carer, my moments of escape would have come from going to the seaside, going out with my friends, going to the arcades and the Buccaneer. And this is almost like a hybrid space in itself. It's a water cooler moment in hospitals for those caring and those being cared for. The dolphin frieze is a frieze of ceramic dolphins in a lilac colour that runs all around the space, almost like a dado rail that you would get architecturally, but it emulates me drawing dolphins on the wall of my bedroom when I was a child. The wayfinders are like the wayfinders that you get in hospital. They're something that you can kind of cling to, and they also are covered in these fluorescent stars that I used to stick all over my ceiling as a child. I guess another tool of navigation through something that could be potentially difficult. The collages are hung in a way that one might hang pictures in a hallway. And in a sense, these are also another hybrid space because they become something between a salon hang being in this gallery format and this more unorthodox way of hanging pictures that one might do of loved ones at home.
Sarah has created an incredibly personal and generous body of work that, whilst dealing with challenging issues, aims to be joyous, hopeful and cathartic.